You're at your grandson's birthday party. A woman walks up, smiling. She knows you. She's hugging you. She's talking about the last time you met. And you have absolutely no idea who she is. You smile. You nod. You panic inside. Is this Alzheimer's? Is this the beginning of the end? No, it's not. I'm going to show you 5 memory techniques used by memory champions, people who memorize thousands of names, faces, and facts. That will make your memory sharper at 70 than it was at 30. These aren't pills. They're not supplements. They're brain hacks that work in as little as 7 days. One 68-year-old woman learned these techniques and went from forgetting her neighbor's name to memorizing a 50-person family tree in 1 week. Let me show you how. First, let's talk about why you're forgetting names. And it's not because you're getting old. That's a lie we've been told. Here's what's really happening. Your brain has limited working memory, like RAM in a computer. When you meet someone new, their name goes into your working memory. But if you don't transfer that name from working memory to long-term memory within 30 seconds, it's gone. Forever. Like writing on sand, and the wave washes it away. Why does this happen more as we age? 3 reasons. 1. You have more information in your brain competing for attention. You've met thousands more people than when you were 30. 2. You're distracted. At 65, you're thinking about your medication, your grandkids, your appointment tomorrow. Your attention is divided. 3. And this is critical. You're not trying to remember anymore. When you were 30, remembering names mattered for your career. Now, you've given up. You've accepted senior moments as normal. But memory champions, people who compete in memory competitions, they're often in their 60s and 70s. They remember more than people half their age. How? They use systems. And I'm about to teach you those exact systems. Technique number 1 is the face name association. This is the most powerful technique memory champions use. Here's how it works. Step 1. When someone tells you their name, immediately look at their face and find one distinctive feature. Big eyes, unique nose, freckles, gray hair, anything that stands out. Step 2. Create a ridiculous mental image connecting their name to that feature. And it has to be ridiculous. Your brain remembers weird stuff better than normal stuff. Example, you meet Barbara. She has big blue eyes. Picture a barbarian with enormous blue eyes, wearing a Viking helmet, staring at you. That image is so weird your brain can't forget it. You meet Frank. He has a thick mustache. Picture a hot dog, a Frank, dangling from his mustache. Ridiculous? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. You meet Rose. She has rosy cheeks. Picture actual roses growing out of her cheeks, blooming, petals falling. The key is, make it visual. Make it exaggerated. Make it emotional. Your brain evolved to remember unusual, emotional experiences. It did not evolve to remember lists of abstract names. One man learned this technique at 72. He said, I went to my 50th high school reunion. I remembered every single classmate's name using this method. People thought I had a photographic memory. I don't. I just have a system. Practice this today. Next person you meet, create that ridiculous image immediately. It takes 5 seconds, and it works for life. Technique number 2 is deceptively simple but incredibly powerful. It's called repeat and spell. When someone tells you their name, you do 3 things immediately. 1. Repeat it back to them. 2. Ask them to spell it. 3. Use their name in the next sentence you say. Example, someone says, Hi, I'm Jennifer. You say, Jennifer, nice to meet you. Is that spelled with 1 N or 2? She spells it. Then you say, Jennifer, how do you know the host? What just happened? You heard the name 3 times. You saw it spelled in your mind. You used it in conversation. That name just went from working memory to long-term memory. But here's the psychology trick that makes this work even better. When you ask someone to spell their name, you're showing interest in them. People love when you show interest. They feel valued. They like you more. So they'll remember you. And when they remember you, Your brain gets another chance to rehearse their name later. Even common names, ask them to spell it. Is that Sarah with or without an H? Is John spelled traditionally or in a unique way? It doesn't matter if it's obvious. What matters is the repetition. One 65-year-old woman said, "I used to avoid introducing people because I'd forget names instantly. Now I ask everyone to spell their name. I haven't forgotten a single person's name in 6 months. Here's your homework. Next 5 people you meet, repeat their name, ask them to spell it, and use it in your next sentence. Watch how quickly this becomes automatic." Technique number 3 is for when you need to remember multiple names at once, like at a party or family gathering. It's called the story method. Here's how it works. You create a story that links all the names together in a ridiculous narrative. Example, you're at a dinner party. You meet Tom, Susan, Michael, and Linda. You create this story in your mind. Tom the cat is chasing a Susan bee, Anthony coin. Michael Jordan dunks the coin into a basketball hoop. Linda Ronstadt is singing under the basketball hoop. Is it stupid? Yes. Does it work? Perfectly. Because your brain remembers stories better than random information. We evolved around campfires telling stories for thousands of years. The story doesn't have to make sense. In fact, the weirder it is, the better you'll remember it. Let's do another example. You meet Robert, Patricia, and James at church. Story, Robert the robot is wearing Patricia's dress and eating James Bond's spy gadgets. Now, whenever you see Robert, you remember the robot, which reminds you of the dress, which reminds you of Patricia, which reminds you of James Bond, which reminds you of James. A 70-year-old grandfather used this at his grandson's wedding. He met 30 new relatives, created one long story linking all their names. He still remembers every single person's name a year later. The key is, create the story immediately. Don't wait. As soon as you hear multiple names, start building your narrative. Write it down if you need to at first. Technique number 4 uses something your brain is excellent at, patterns and rhymes. It's called rhyme and reason. When you meet someone, create a rhyme with their name. The sillier, the better. You meet Jake. Jake likes to bake a cake by the lake. You meet Mary. Mary is very merry and not scary. You meet Drew. Drew wore blue shoes and flew. Why does this work? Because rhymes create a rhythm in your brain, and rhythm is processed in multiple parts of your brain simultaneously: language center, auditory center, pattern recognition. This is why you can remember song lyrics from 40 years ago, but can't remember what you ate for breakfast. Rhythm and rhyme are memory superpowers. You can also use alliteration, same starting sounds. Tall Tim, Busy Betty, Gentle George. Your brain loves patterns. One retired teacher, 68 years old, used this technique to learn all 40 names of her church choir in one rehearsal. The choir director was stunned. Here's the practice. Today, take 5 family members or friends. Create a rhyme or alliteration for each name. Say it out loud. You'll be shocked how quickly you can recall them later. And here's a bonus. Share the rhyme with the person. Hi, Jake. Jake who bakes cakes. They'll laugh. They'll remember you. And that reinforces your memory of them. Technique number 5 is the most powerful memory technique ever discovered. It's called the memory palace, and it's been used for over 2,000 years. Here's how it works. You imagine a place you know extremely well. Your house, your childhood home, your regular grocery store route. Then you place each person you need to remember in a specific location in that place. You create a mental journey through the palace, and each stop has a person. Example, you need to remember 10 people you met at a reunion. You start at your front door. Tom is standing at the front door wearing a giant tomato costume. You walk to the living room. Susan is sitting on your couch wearing a crown like Susan B. Anthony. You go to the kitchen. Michael Jordan is dunking basketballs into your sink. You go upstairs. Linda is in the bathroom singing into your hairbrush. Now, when you need to remember these people, you just take a mental walk through your house. Each location triggers the memory of the person. Memory champions use this to memorize thousands of random numbers, hundreds of names, entire decks of cards. One man memorized the order of 10 shuffled decks of cards. That's 520 cards, using a memory palace. But you don't need to memorize cards. You just need to remember your neighbors, your doctor's staff, people at church, your grandson's teachers. Start small. Use your house as your palace. Next time you meet 5 new people, place each one in a different room. Walk through your mental house later that night. You'll remember every single name. A 73-year-old man used this technique to remember all 25 people at his book club. He said, "I walk through my house in my mind, and there they all are, doing ridiculous things in each room. I've never forgotten a single name since." Here are your 5 techniques. 1. Face name association with ridiculous imagery. 2. Repeat, spell, and use the name immediately. 3. Create stories linking multiple names. 4. Use rhymes and alliteration. 5. Build a memory palace for longer lists. You don't need to use all of them. Pick one that feels natural to you. Practice it for 7 days. Then add another. Within 2 weeks, you'll remember names better than people half your age. Within a month, people will ask you how you remember everything. Forgetting names isn't inevitable. It's not Alzheimer's. It's not aging. It's just a lack of system. Now you have 5 systems. Use them, practice them, and watch your memory transform. If this helped you, hit subscribe for more brain-boosting content. Share this with someone who needs it. And comment below, which technique are you trying first? I'll see you in the next one.